Let's talk about brow lifts. Hi, I'm Dr. Pirko. Welcome to Ideal Plastic Surgery. Today we're going to talk about brow lifts. There are three types of brow lifts, and that unfortunately means that there isn't one perfect type. If you have three different ways of doing the same surgery, each of them has advantages but also some drawbacks. The most efficient one is what we call a direct brow lift, where we make an incision right above the brow to remove a little bit of skin and suture it upwards. It definitely works, but it also leaves the most visible of all three scars. The next option is to do what we call a hairline brow lift, where we make the incision right where the skin meets the hair, and it can be just a lateral brow lift or it can be all the way from the midline, depending on how much of a scar you're willing to tolerate. This scar is a little bit more hidden than the direct brow lift, but it also doesn't have the same strength. If you pull from further away, you're not going to get the same rising as if you pull from right next to the brow. Finally, we have one that has the most hidden scar, where we make the scar within the hair, but here we can no longer just pull directly. We have to have some sort of suture that is threaded underneath the skin to lift the brow. And while it does leave the most hidden scar, studies show that it actually also gives us the least long-lasting effect. So we have to make a choice, individualize it for you, depending on how your skin scars, whether we're going to go for a direct brow lift, a hairline brow lift, or some sort of hidden within the hair brow lift for you. Regardless of which kind of brow lift we choose, the intention is to take an aging brow that is at or below the orbital rim and bring it up into a more youthful position again. This can also help with the excess and heaviness that we can sometimes have on the upper eyelids, and it's going to open your eyes and make everything look more refreshed and youthful. The procedure takes less than an hour. It's generally done under general anesthesia, and you get to go home on the same day. The results, of course, are going to vary depending on which procedure we pick exactly, and they should be pretty long lasting, especially if you are willing to take a scar that is a little bit closer to the intended area that we are lifting. With the brow lift, the trick is to completely separate the brow from the underlying structures and to position it in a very natural appearing way. We don't want you to have scared or dramatic brows. We want you to have something that looks like you didn't have surgery, but you just look a little bit more rested and a little bit more youthful. The amount of skin and the exact way of doing it is of course going to vary with the technique that we use, but either way you're not going to feel anything. You're going to be asleep. At the end of the surgery will wake you up, and it will take less than an hour. The postoperative care after a brow lift is pretty straightforward. You will have incisions in place, and they have to be removed after about a week. During that first week, we want you to try to avoid putting any pressure on them, so we prefer if you can sit face up, and ideally even in a recumbent chair with some pillows behind your head so you don't swell up too much. There will be a little bit of bruising, there will be a little bit of swelling, and of course you might want to hide because not everybody wants everyone to know that they just had surgery. But other than that, you are going to feel okay. It's not painful. If anything, people complain that they have a little bit of numbness, and that takes several weeks to normalize. The patients are going to come back after a week to remove the sutures. There won't be any drains unless we combined it with a face and neck lift at the same time, and in those cases we do leave a drain, but otherwise there are no drains, there is no need for special bandages, and you are gonna be fine. If we will have the last bit of bruising go away after 10 to 14 days, depending on whether you bruise a lot or a little, and you should be able to go back to work and to be seen socially after about 10 to 14 days, maybe with a tiny bit of makeup if needed, but you will be feeling great. Thank you for choosing Ideal Plastic Surgery for your brow lift. I am confident that you're going to like the results. We have a super experienced team, and that's really what it's all about. Thanks.